I did not notice that. Yeah.
I don't know if he's actually going to be running with that.
Looks like he just reset it. All right, guys. So we are off with these runners here.
Right. So I believe you said Skarsnik's PB was a 134, but he did say in the IRC channel that his PB is closer to a 114. So.
Oh, that's good. Okay, so that's 15 off of what his actual PB is. So I don't know if that was something that he has actually worked on and actually got better before the sign up, but we'll see. I've been seeing, I don't know about you, I've been actually seeing a lot of PBs in these race scenarios, which is something to be commended, because that's hard to do when you have the pressure on you.
Yeah, we've definitely seen a lot of PBs, but we have also seen a lot of deaths. So we will have to see if the runners want to go all out and try to get a PB, or play it safe, make some saves, get some safety items, and just try to finish.
Yeah, it's always interesting to see how a race setting can actually change a runner's strategy. So you'll see sometimes from watching a runner when he's doing casual streams and going for a PB, and then watching the same runner doing the race setting, you may see, extra missiles pick up, extra energy tanks, some saves. So anything can happen in a race.
Yeah, in this case, for example, both runners are doing old routes, so I would imagine they both pick up at least the Braid energy tank as a fourth safety, and potentially even more, potentially even the Ridley tank. But we will see.
So Caznode getting out of series with a 46. Skarsnik having a little bit of trouble there, coming out with, I believe, was a 33. So Caznode gave himself a little cushion in the beginning. Always worth noting that the beginning runs here, especially if they're running the same route, are usually pretty similar. It's not until we get to Kraid that we start to see that, where they start to put some space in between each other.
Right. But, of course, as we already mentioned, Caznode does have a pretty significant edge on Skarsnik just off of PB times. But, of course, it is a race. Anything can happen.
Exactly. I always say never count out the person that feels like they have nothing to lose. If they don't put extra pressure on them because they feel like they have no chance to win, they actually may feel like a little looser, a little freer, and like you said, anything can happen in a race. So Caznode could rip somewhere, and Skarsnik could take that lead, and that would be while it would be an upset, still in a race setting, it wouldn't be unthinkable.
Right, I agree. And we see Caznode going into Blue Brinstar. Of course, anybody who's run any category or even just played this game casually, you aren't going to be seeing anything too special for the beginning of the run. Just going to pick up the essential items here, Morph Ball bombs and the first missile pack.
Right, of course. So Caznode showing you the patented arm pumping technique there. You're going to be seeing probably both runners doing that a lot of the time throughout the runs. What that does is that allows Samus to move kind of pixels ahead of where she would be without doing that. So on a full run done optimally, it usually saves 7 to 10 seconds on an entire run if you were to not do that. So you're going to be seeing them do that all the time.
Seems like Scar's timer is lagging behind a little bit. I'm not sure what happened there. Just got fast forwarded on stream.
Oh, really?
But you can already see some of the goofy stuff this timer does. It's gonna get even crazier as time goes on. So.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, I am not very familiar with this, so.
Yeah, this is a pretty fun timer.
All right, so Caznode looking to go through the climb with the wall climb technique as opposed to the B-He technique, as he kind of does a hybrid here. Kind of gave up on that wall climb, having a little trouble here, showing that he can do both. Skarsnik coming up from the Morph Ball area. We're going to see how he chooses to do the climb as well.
One thing to note about Caznode is he did set his PB, his 46 back in 2015, so we don't know how much or how comfortable he is with the game now after potentially not playing as much for a few years. So
that's a good point. I'm not very familiar with him, and I don't know I don't recall him streaming this game too much, as I probably, like most of the people in the community, like to see who's running the game at any given moment. So that's a fair point. He might be out of practice, and this might be a big D-rust.
Right, but he does seem to be getting everything pretty well. It did take a bit of damage on Bomb Teresa, but still gets a pretty clean kill.
Looks like it's a pretty clean kill there. Skarsnik still not very far behind. Again, like I said, there's a big discrepancy in those PBs, but these runners in the beginning right now are pretty close together. So these gentlemen high-fiving on the way out. Caznode about to do the escape from Alcatraz here. One of those things that just can kind of just get away from your muscle memory for no reason. Getting it on the first try, Skarsnik is about ready to fight this Bomb Teresa.
Right. He actually did mess it up a little bit at the beginning, so once again, maybe showing a little bit of D-rust, but of course gets it no problem.
It could be that combination of de-rusting and the pressure of a race could get to him. We'll see. But he has actually done a run, so Caznode is 1-0 in his group, so he's not coming into it completely blind, if that's the case anyways. If we have the chance, which we probably won't because we're a little further behind, that'll be something that we'll certainly have to ask him. But Caznode showing very little signs of rust, as Skarsnik decides to go the old-fashioned route and skips the escape from Alcatraz here. So should he actually try that escape from Alcatraz and fail that about 2 times, that's the equivalent of going that old route. So he may not be comfortable with that strat as Caznode goes into the first sequence break of the game as he tries to get those early supers and misses the first roll across that bridge there.
All right, so there are a lot of strategies in this game that a lot of people would take for granted since it seems like they're so easy, but actually doing them is pretty hard, and Alcatraz Escape is one of them, so Skarsnik not being comfortable is not too surprising for a newer runner.
Yeah, it's not one of the easier things to get down, especially for a beginner runner, and I speak from experience on that just a couple months ago, so tough kind of stuff. Same with Caznode showing a little bit of that D-rust as he's unable to get that first mock ball across the bridge to get to those supers, picking it up with the second one. But again, that's a technique that some of the better runners are going to take for granted because it's just such a staple in these runs.
All right, still making a pretty good time for himself. A sub 8-minute charge beam time coming up, I assume, assuming he doesn't mess up anything too badly. And so he's still definitely showing that he is decently comfortable with playing the game. So that's always a good thing to see. We see Scars actually going for the reserve tank behind.
Yeah. I've not seen any runner do this yet, so that is definitely a big safety strat there. Getting the missiles. Is he going to get both missile tanks and then the reserve? Looks like he is.
Interesting. Going for the 100% strats.
Yeah. He's confused on which one he's actually trying to do.
It might not be the right route.
Maybe his PB is 115 for 100%, which would be phenomenal.
Right. Maybe he's better than we're giving him credit for.
Yeah, it could be. Caznode making his way down Red Tower as he works over to Kraid's lair here.
Right, nice damage boost there. He is not going to pick up Spazer, which of course is technically faster, but
yes,
you know, maybe you just like Spazer.
So it'll be interesting to see. I've got a feeling that Skarsnik would actually pick up Spazer just from what we're seeing in his run there. But for someone that's just beginning, getting that mock ball right there, showing some understanding of the basic strategies that you need to speedrun this game. Great movement there. Adding some time as Caznode continues his way over. Missing the little warp pipe there, but still making it through with plenty of time, plenty of health, plenty of ammo.
Alright, he actually has full missiles going into this room here. That, not obviously not necessary, but something you like to see.
Right. Great D-boost there. He's going into the first boss of the old route, which would be Kraid. So one of the first techniques that you need to learn in terms of bosses, so we can quick kill here. It looks like he's setting up for the 2 missile 3 super, which is faster but a little harder technique to get. Let's see how he does right here. It looks like he nails it. Great stuff here from Caznode as he advances with that quick kill, going to the various suit. Skarsnik not too far behind here, but definitely adding that time as Caznode increases the gap, since Skarsnik went for that safety strat of getting those extra missiles plus the reserve tank. Those 3 extra items cost him about 18 to 20 seconds of fanfare, so we'll see how many more times he needs to do that in terms of safety.
I'm gonna be right back. I'm currently getting yelled at, so
that's
give me a few minutes. I'm gonna have to go do some.
You got it. All right, so. All right, chat being lively. No, we were definitely joking around. Skarsnik does not have a 115 and 100%. 115 and 100% would be pretty close to world record, I think. 115 flat would be, I think, 3rd in the world for 100%, so he certainly does not have that. And Skarsnik, that timer is just messing with our minds. I don't know what's going on. Are we in the Matrix? As he goes to pick up Sephi Beam, the Spazer, the best beam in the entire game. Caznode making his way out of Kraid's lair here, increasing that lead as Skarsnik gets extra fanfare that Caznode did not need to get. Caznode on his way down into Norfair as Skarsnik comes out of that beam room. Having a little trouble here getting across. All right, so Caznode going over to one of the best. I don't know if it's consensus. Is it the best item in the game? Let's hear what the chat has to say. Are the high jump boots the best item in the game? Because I hear that from a couple people, but not everyone. So, you know, I feel like we need to have a consensus here. Let's vote. Anyways, Caznode going over to those high jump boots as Skarsnik makes his way into Kraid's lair here. Great movement coming out. Caznode getting those high jump boots. Already pre-opening the door here so he can just exit here. Skarsnik going for the morph ball as opposed to the warp pipe. Not too surprising in terms of a beginner run here. All right, so Caznode making his way up. All right, so Skarsnik starting to enter Kraid here. Let's see if he's got this quick kill down. Beautiful movement by Caznode as he makes his way over to Bubble Mountain. Skarsnik starting the fight. Also worth noting that if you see runners going into Morph Ball as Kraid starts coming up, that is because that actually reduces the lag, so it gets him a little extra time here. Skarsnik showing that he is just missing that technique there. I don't know if he knows exactly what he needed to do there. He started off with the missiles. He might have been better off actually trying to go for that 4 slow super missile there. Let's see how fast he can actually dispatch of Kraid as Caznode makes his way up and goes over to the speed booster.
Yeah, so I'm back.
All right. Welcome back.
It's like I came back at a good time. Didn't quite get the quick kill, but a pretty nice Kraid kill from Scars.
Yeah, it was not that. I don't know what he's doing now. He's just kind of standing there for a second.
He had to really think about. He had to mourn the loss of the
sitting there saying, "What have I done?" Caznode coming out with that speed boost here. Let's see if he can open this door and get that free farm. It looks like he does, but he's jumping up. I don't know if that's going to kill. He's going to have to farm a little bit. Looks like he's okay now as he descends down. Great D-boost there on his way over to Wave as Skarsnik's making his way back out of Kraid's lair here.
So technically in that room, what you want to do is you want to jump through the door transition so it aligns the doors, because normally it takes like about a second to align them. So jumping there would skip that second.
That makes sense. Okay, so Skarsnik here, also worth noting that if you jump through that door transition that Skarsnik just came through, it actually aligns the enemies up top where you can actually jump through without really having to worry about getting hit. He did not do that, so it's a little harder to get back out of there. But if you do forget to do that, it is also worth noting that if you morph ball up through that jump, you are usually able to get out of there without any issue. So Skarsnik going for that extra tank here. So both runners choosing to pick up that crate tank. Skarsnik went with the super safe strat of still having that reserve tank as well. Caznode coming out and descending Bubble Mountain here, increasing his lead ever so slightly as Skarsnik starts to make his way over to Norfair.
Right, we're probably going to see a high five somewhere in the elevator, maybe the room after the elevator. So
that sounds about nice. Right. Yeah. Both runners showing the great sportsmanship, high-fiving as they pass each other here. And there's the high five. Okay, so Caznode's making his way out of Norfair as Skarsnik goes over to the high jump boots. Caznode in great position in terms of health. Let's see if he gets that Alpha Spark across, if that is in his back pocket.
Right. Of course, that room is made, the high jump room is made a little bit easier with Spazer, since normally without Spazer you'd have to shoot down to hit all the blocks, whereas with Spazer you can just shoot straight. So a little bit of a time save there, actually. That
looks like Caznode just missing that Alpha Spark too, but getting the D boost there, so not losing too much time and still in great position in terms of health as he climbs Red Tower here.
It's possible he wasn't actually going for the Alpha Spark and he just crouched to stop momentum so he could go through the door without bonking, but if he was going for it, then yes, he did unfortunately miss.
So either way, it's ambiguous, so he's the real winner here. We don't know if he did or did not want to do that. So Caznode with great D-boost over there, and he's going to be making his way over to Power Bombs, and then he's going to be fighting the second boss of the game, Fantoon, as Skarsnik makes his way over to Bubble Mountain ever so slightly.
He had a bit of trouble with the D-boost there, but still picks up the Power Bomb pretty worry-free. Ooh, falls in the Vile Plume there, though, but
getting that
not a very clean one, but still, he's not going to be too worried.
It's always interesting to see. You never know until you ask, but I would have to imagine that both runners have the race on in the background, which in this tournament is not against the rules. Were it a randomizer tournament, then it would be, but both of these runners have the option of actually having it on in the background. Some people actually like that, some people don't. Having it on in the background, if Caznode knows that he's got a bigger lead, he might elect to do some of those safer strats or pick up some extra items that he normally otherwise would not do.
Scars had a little bit of trouble getting up Bubble Mountain there. Got claimed by King Kek there the first try, but he made it up, and now he's going to be going to get his speed booster. Nice spark from Caznode over the moat. He's going to do a second spark here to clear the ocean.
Getting caught a little bit here, but it should be okay. In great position in terms of health. He should not have to farm here. And it looks like Skarsnik, is he going to go for? He does. He goes for the safety strat of that extra missile tank right before the speed boost. Not if you're gonna go for a fanfare there and go for the extra missile pack. That is not bad because it is really not out of the way there. So if you pick that up and then end up picking up the moat missiles, those are two missile tanks that are not really out of the way and don't add that much time in terms of safety.
Yeah, there's actually a lot of items that are pretty close to the route that you would take in any percent that you can pick up if you want to, and it doesn't lose as much time, disregarding the item fanfare. So
Caznode getting ready with that Power Bomb select, so it looks like he's going to try and X-Factor Fantoon right away. Let's see if Fantoon gives him a fast. Does not look like he does. Fantoon is just trolling on Caznode right now. Gets that first X Factor. Great stuff from Caznode, knowing exactly where Fantoon was going to be. Fantoon has very predictable patterns.
Right, but it looks like he's giving him two slow patterns here, so obviously not what you want to see, but in a race setting, it could have been a lot worse. And didn't quite get the super in, so he's going to have to do a third round.
Did he mess that up too, or did he get him? Oh, he did.
He shot 3 missiles, so Fantoon flew away immediately.
So Skarsnik getting that wave beam, he's going to be very closely getting his way out of Norfair as Caznode dispatches a Phantoon. Probably not as fast as he wanted to do it, but still relatively safe. He should be, depending on the drops here, perfectly fine. If he gets a couple of power bombs here, he might be able to have his way with Attic, and he does. So it'd be interesting to see how he chooses to dispatch the Attic enemies.
He is a little bit low on super missiles, so ideally you want to have full supers, but you would usually end with at least 3 or 4, and he has 1 right now. So besides this coming super pack, he's not gonna have very many going into Meridia, unless he chooses to farm some Cax on the way. Of course, you would want to have at least 7 going into Meridia, 1 for the green door and 6 for the 1-round Botwoon kill, which we will see if he gets later.
Right, so it looks like he's setting up here. I don't know, kind of looks like he's setting up for that Attic Spark, but we'll see what he chooses to do here.
Scars is...
And he does.
Going...
Missing an enemy, though.
Yeah, Scars went for Ice Beam, like he's going for early ice, but...
Yeah, he's going for early ice here.
He crouched too early, so he had to go reset the room, and Goop sparked into the ceiling. That's not what you want to see.
No. So early ice is kind of a safety strat, and a lot of beginner runners do it. It's not necessarily wrong, but it is faster to forego that ice, especially if you're trying to do that X Factor on Phantoon, because in order to do that, you have to press start and deselect ice before the fight there. So Ice Beam would make the climb in Red Tower a little easier if you were uncomfortable with trying to get Hero Shot or even just climbing up. But it does add a little time. You're better off in the long run as you get better, saving it for your descent into Norfair.
Right, but one thing to note is that he already has Spazer, so getting ice doesn't really change his ability to X Factor, and it does make Red Tower significantly easier, so considering what he has already, not a bad item to pick up early.
That is true. If he had any indication or feels like that's his trouble area, you know, getting early ice is definitely not the wrong call for him. Caznode picking up that gravity suit at 22:34, still on pretty good pace for him. I don't know if that's PB pace for him, but it is definitely a good time.
Oh, absolutely. And he's going to be heading into Meridia, like I said before. He got a lot of supers. I'm not sure where he got that many.
It must have been on his way into bowling. I missed it too, but that's the only real explanation, because he was very low coming out of Attic.
That was a really nice mock ball in the moat room. That's a pretty difficult strat to get, actually, so pretty impressive from Caznode.
Caznode looking like if he is rusty, he's definitely not showing it. Feeling pretty comfortable here in his run as he makes his way down. These guys are going to high-five yet again, coming down Red Tower.
All right, as Scars, of course, like I said, Ice Beam makes Red Tower a bit easier. He's going to show that right here as he, instead of wall jumping, is just going to freeze the Rippers and have a pretty safe climb up the Red Tower.
All right, so these guys high-fiving again in the door transition.
Yep.
Choosing to get Ice Beam off right now. Interesting strat.
So the thing about Ice Beam is, so for enemies that would normally take 1 hit, they would take 2 hits with Ice Beam because they will always get frozen. So turning it off makes killing enemies a little bit faster, but it is interesting they turned off Ice and not Spazer. It would signify that he's basically definitely not going for X Factors. Also, Ice does make this room here easier, since the intended strat would be to freeze the yellow guys, so just a little thing to note there.
That is true. All right, so Skarsnik making his way, getting caught again as Caznode climbs Everest here. He's in good position. He's got plenty of supers. He's got plenty of power bombs here. His energy's probably a little lower than he would like it, but he shouldn't be in any real danger if he does this area efficiently. My guess is that he's going to try and set up that X Factor on Batoon here in order to get that quick kill.
Wait.
No, go ahead.
Still saying something? I was going to say that generally having more than one E-Tank is really comfortable health here, since you aren't going to take too much damage from Batoon, and you do pick up the energy tank right after him. So this shouldn't be too bad, assuming he has a clean Batoon fight, and it looks like he does.
That is a very clean Batoon fight there. So I don't know the specifics. Maybe you do, and you can enlighten me and the audience here. So if you get the full X Factor on Batoon, how many supers do you need to pump in order to kill him?
You need 6, because each super missile will do 300, and each particle from the X Factor will do 300. And Batoon has, I believe, 3,000. So you would need 6 supers. Caznode setting up for full halfy here. I don't know if he can full halfy off this setup, but
looks like he messed it up.
Went for the halfy, but he was a little bit low and ended up bonking the floor.
One of the tougher strategies to learn in this area. It does make Coliseum a little faster to get across if you get the full halfy, even the halfy. But again, it's tough to get those wall jumps fast enough where you can actually get that. Looking like Caznode gets those backup strats though, getting that D boost off there, so he definitely knows he's feeling pretty comfortable in this run. And again, I don't know if he's aware of where Skarsnik is. He might be, but the pressure is kind of off in that sense. Now he could still rip. I'm not saying that that's not a possibility, and that would completely change the path of this game. But in terms of nerves, all he has to do is try and just get into his groove and do what's comfortable for him. He should be okay. Skarsnik going into the second boss here, Fantoon, as Caznode's in the third. So,
if you go by the timer, I don't think we know where Skarsnik is either. That's some funky things going on there.
Skarsnik is in Narnia right now. I don't know what's going on. Caznode getting the good start here.
I think just one more spark if he can get this right here.
Yeah, he should be okay.
Not quite.
No.
I think he's gonna want to try, for sure.
He's gonna want to try and kill him with a spark to try and get that blue suit. Nails it. All right, so getting that blue suit, that's gonna make the trek across Coliseum even easier. There, do you want to explain to the people what blue suit is?
All right, so I don't know technically how it works, but essentially it gives you the blue suit that you would normally have from running with speed booster. It gives you that permanently as long as you aren't holding run, or as long as you don't press the run button. So what that allows him to do is spark across the Coliseum in reverse, so he can get through that room in the optimal time.
Right, so you're going to see it here. So as long as he doesn't press dash, he can press down. There you go. So he presses down there, so he's got that spark. As long as he gets up here, looks like he does. Beautiful reverse halfy by Caznode, making that Coliseum trek back a little easier.
So one thing I do want to note on Skarsnik's stream, we already saw him turn off Ice Beam earlier, but he actually got Sunrise Surprise there. Luckily he had reserves, so he's fine. But with Ice Beam, Fantoon would take more damage from the charge shots that he was going for. Looks like
he enraged him, unfortunately, getting very close, but not close enough to kill him, so now he's going to have to worry about this.
Right, but of course Charge Beam makes this pretty easy. You can just pseudo through all the flames.
What Skarsnik's doing is the easiest way to mitigate this.
We see Caznode going up to get Plasma Beam. He's making really good pace. This is pretty impressive for a race setting for sure.
It is. Anytime that you can run close to a PB, it's always very impressive in a race setting. As Skarsnik takes down Fantoon. Now, it's worth noting again, Caznode, his PB, or on-record PB, is 46-47 doing old route, which is what he's doing now as he's trying to exit Plasma Spark. But as TG said earlier, that PB was actually from 2 years ago. So we don't know how much Caznode's been playing this game. So if it hasn't been a lot, then he's doing pretty well here.
Right. He's on about I don't want to say this yet because there's still some things that can go wrong, but he's on like a 48 pace right now. So
which in a race setting is extremely good. So whether or not you get a PB is one thing, but getting close to it is definitely another. Skarsnik going for another safety strat here, going away from that last super missile tank. See, he's doing those 100% route again.
Yeah, picking up a third super missile tank will make, depending on if he's going for speed booster strats on Dragon, it will make both Dragon and Ridley significantly easier. So
if he's only going to pick up that one, which may not be the case as we get closer, but wouldn't it have been faster to get the one in Meridia, right where Everest is?
I don't know, actually. I don't know the time between them, but if this is what he feels more comfortable with getting, so...
That's true, because, I mean, he did use that Ice Beam in Red Tower, so if he's not comfortable with those wall jumps, it might be a little harder to get that one in Meridia. But like I said, doing, what he's been doing so far, he might actually grab both, so we'll have to see. Like I said, every time you get an extra item, it is safety for him, but it's also an additional 6 seconds, 7 seconds in fanfare, so we'll see how much that adds up. Again, worth noting that both of these runners have a relatively big discrepancy in their PB, so Skarsnik probably just going for the long game here and trying to finish the run as Caznode increases his lead here, heading out of Ice Beam, and he's going to be making his way to Lower Norfair. I don't know if he's going to be doing the northern or southern route, but we will find that out in just a moment.
So one thing to note here is that the technically optimal way to kill Ridley would be with 30 super missiles. I don't think he's going to pick up 30, but there are a few super missile packs that are relatively close in any percent that he could opt to pick up, but he is having a bit of trouble with this addict, so...
Yeah, he's kind of... So Caznode going with the southern route here, making great time, coming across here, being able to essentially almost spark across, keeping that Shine Spark speed all the way across. Foregoing the recharge station there, as his health is in pretty good shape. He did not need to do that, so that is another time save there as Skarsnik finally makes his way out of the attic.
Alright, it looks like he's setting up for the chronic boost, and I think he got it. Yep. That's just a nice little trick you can do there with the damage boost, and he's going to be heading to Lower Norfair.
So if someone were to tell me that Caznode was a little rusty and this was a D-Rust run, I would tell you that you were crazy, because he is working and he is running pretty well.
I am really interested with how many missiles Scars has picked up. It has 35 actually, so I'm not sure what his plan is with all of them. But
I don't know either, but we'll find out. Caznode getting that spark, that pillar spark across there, saving that time, coming into what is seems to be collectively the worst room in the game here.
Well, it is quite literally called the worst room in the game. So
Caznode getting that donkey roll though over that space pirate. Great stuff here as he makes his way into the next room. Skarsnik in that bowling alley room, getting that first reprieve of the game, buying himself 30 seconds to kind of regroup and say, hey, what do I need to do to keep this run going?
Right, we did see him farm the room, not the room previous to bowling alley, but the room before that. I don't know what it's called, but we saw him farm it a little bit for health, so just to be safe in this room here.
Scar is looking like he's taking that reprieve and going into the chat. Don't count yourself out, buddy. Don't be too hard on yourself. This is quality entertainment. You finished this for the runners. Do what you're doing. Caznode getting the double drop through. Great skips there as he enters in the ninja space pirate room.
Right, so one thing to note there is the technically optimal strat in that room is to damage boost off the spikes instead of through the the spike platforms, since the spikes will do 15 and the spike platforms will do 50. So he took a pretty significant amount of damage in that room. So he should be fine, but that is one thing.
Choosing not to farm, and he's pushing in here. This, depending on how comfortable he feels with Ridley, this could be a little dangerous. Skarsnik picking up the extra missiles before coming into moat. He is just stocking up on inventory here as he gets at the moat missiles too. Caznode starting the fight with Ridley. Always worth noting that Ridley, while nobody likes him, you can manipulate his movement a little bit to kind of curry some favor here, because you want him in certain you want certain patterns here. On the left side here, these are just free shots if you can get Ridley to pogo on the left side.
And I think Ridley is dead, and there it is.
Yeah, great stuff from Caznode there. Let's see if he goes for the extra energy tank here.
I think he has plenty of health. He shouldn't need it, and he's not going to go for it.
He is going to push forward. I think he's trying to get as fast a run as possible here. No safety strats coming from Caznode as Skarsnik makes his way down Red Tower here. Or no, he's not even in Red Tower. He's going to be making his way over to Red Tower in a second.
I mean, I don't know if... I think the elevator room, I think that's still called Red Tower. I'm not sure.
Oh, well then either way. But now he's in Red Tower making his way down. He's going to be making his way over to Meridia as Caznode is going to be making his way out of Lower Norfair. Great wall jumping there from Caznode, showing his movement. If he hasn't played this game in a while, he has not missed a beat.
Alright, Scar's going to take the Slaughter's refill here. Just going to refill his health going into Meridia. Can't really blame him there.
Probably wanting that extra safety, yeah. Making sure that he has enough energy to climb Everest there too. Caznode avoiding all of the key hunters here. Great movement, great evasion as he comes into this next room here. Skarsnik's going to be making his way over to the tube here in Meridia.
Yeah, Caznode is really putting on a clinic here. He's having a very solid run, which is especially impressive considering this is a race setting. So,
yes. That great movement there too. Caznode just showing that his nerves are not an issue right now. Just great stuff from Caznode. Skarsnik's making his way up through Meridia as he's going to be fighting Botswoon relatively soon.
And Caznode finishing up the escape. Gonna be heading up to Golden 4 right now, and he shouldn't be too far away. Only a couple minutes.
So he's going to be needing... he'll probably farm a little bit. He hasn't taken really any safety strats right now, so I'd be very surprised if he ends up going to the ship or anything like that. He may be farming a little bit as he makes his way out of Meridia, and then I would expect him to go straight down into Golden Fort. But we'll see if I'm proven wrong or not. Skarsnik making his way up into... Looks like he's going for more safety strats here. Skarsnik picking up another missile pack here.
All right, I would imagine he's also picking up the super missile just to the right of this. That is one of the missile packs I was talking about being really close to your normal any % route. So he's not losing too much time going for this.
All said and done, no. The additional fanfare that he would need, it does add up, but it's not too far off the beaten path here. I didn't see, but from the looks of his count, I don't believe he picked up the supers in Everest there, as Caznode's making his way through Meridia.
The other thing to note is that he doesn't have any power bombs, so he can't do the X Factor onto Botswoon. So
I don't believe did he try to do that for Fantoon though? I'm not sure he's familiar with that at all.
No, but with the extra super missiles he picked up, he has the required 10 that he would need to kill Botswoon optimally. Doesn't look like he got it though, and he's kind of resorting to using missile strats here. As Caznode is making his way up to Criteria for the final time until the end of the game.
Making his Botswoon fight relatively easy. He had plenty of ammo to use on Botswoon there, as Caznode does make his way into Criteria. Did not farm much. I'm kind of surprised. He does have. He should be okay in terms of Metroid grouping with his health. He's teetering towards the edge of having to worry, but definitely passing the ship here. He's just going to be pushing it here as Skarsnik picks up that energy tank. And he's going to be making his way over to Dragon through the Coliseum here shortly.
Right, and he has 8 super missiles. Generally, you're going to get a decent amount of drops, so 8 is usually not where you start to worry going into Turian, but who knows?
Using it 7, so he's okay, but he's teetering on the edge because RNG can be an issue here. Although he could theoretically, if he was in a bad position, he could reset the last Metroid room as much as possible to make sure that he is fine. But Caznode getting that one of the last breaks in the game here, regrouping. He's got about almost 45 seconds here, 50 seconds to kind of gather himself and think, what do I need to do to finish out this run strong? Because he's been strong the entire time.
Right, and I didn't see the exact G4 time, but he's making about a 48 pace run. So,
which if he's Z-rusting, it's pretty amazing.
I agree.
So Caznode's first, like we said, his PB is 46-47, but that is from a couple of years ago. His first race, he's only done one race in Ice Group so far, and his one race, he is 1-0, and he won that race with a 50-29. So right now he is on pace to beat that. Skarsnik again picking up some extra missiles as he goes down to Dragon, just trying to make sure that he is doing this fight as fast as as safe as possible.
You got a lot of supers there from that.
He did, still with 8. That's not bad. He was not grouping them, but still in decent position here as he groups up, misses the grouping here. There he gets it.
Right, like I said, he should be fine, assuming he doesn't get awful RNG here, and it looks like...
Amazing third room there. Still 10 supers. If he's going to group these last ones together, would be my guess, and he does. He should be in great position here, and he is 20 missiles, 10 supers. The bare minimum you would need is 15 and 10, so he's looking in good shape here. Let's see if he can pull out that baby skip as Skarsnik starts that Dragon fight. Plenty of missiles to shoot at him. Very clearly not comfortable with the Shine Spark method.
Right, like I was going to say, doesn't look very comfortable with the Shine Spark method, but he did farm a lot of ammo before Dragon, so he should still have a decent fight here, assuming everything goes
well. The
well.
baby skip here.
That was not a great first jump, but
no.
It looks like he's fine.
That's interesting. I've never seen that first jump like that. If he actually gets this, it's going to be pretty impressive, and it looks like he does. Great stuff from Caznode. As Skarsnik is trying to finish up Dragon here, there's no Shine Sparks. He's just trying to finish it off with missiles here. You're going to see Skarsnik eventually start... Yeah, it looks like he's well, he would have power bombed there. That does clear up the goop a little bit, so if you see him doing that, that is why he is doing it. He should be able to finish this up without dying, no problem. He's got plenty of missiles here as Caznode continues his run down, and he's about to attempt the Zeptite glitch. Getting it first try. Skarsnik getting grabbed by Dragon here.
So when you get grabbed by Dragon, what you want to do is, I believe you want to do directional inputs, and I think it's 60 that you have to do for Dragon to let you go. I'm not 100% sure about that, but...
I'm not sure about the amount that you have to do, but it's definitely the directional inputs. It has nothing... You can literally not hit a button on the controller as long as you're just going around the directionals.
Right, but Scar's actually got a pretty good... he wriggled free pretty quickly from Dragon and got a decent kill.
So Caznode starting Mother Brain 2 here. This run is definitely his to lose here. He's just got to watch out for that ketchup as Mother Brain is going to be throwing all sorts of just high-calorie food at him with those tater tots, those onion rings, and french fries. Trying to top it off with that ketchup was the most important thing that he has to avoid here. And he gets hit. He is still okay here, but cannot get hit again.
Yeah, he does get hit by the ketchup, so that can hit more than once and do more than one E-tank of damage, but he got lucky and went for the safety E-tank, so he's okay with tanking a ketchup. so he should still be fine. And yeah, he's just got the Mother Brain 3 and the escape left, so
yeah.
Really incredible run.
Caznode, yeah, just putting on a clinic of just classic techniques here. It's just old school, just classic running here. Skarsnik is making his way over to Plasmus Park here. He's at 94.57. I don't know if that's good or bad. I don't know what's going on with his timer, but Caznode, again, doing a great run. It is pretty much dang near impossible to die here. So, of course, I'm not trying to curse him, but I've never seen a person die after Mother Brain 3. So he has the potential to lose a lot of time, but he should not be worried about dying here. So, great run by Caznode.
I agree. He had a very clean Turian, actually. Didn't really have any major screw-ups besides getting hit by the catch-up, and he had plenty of health, so he survived it just fine. As we see Scars farming in that little quicksand pit for a while. Wasn't quite to the right enough to spark up and got hit by the little ledge there. So he's just gonna have to jump up.
Caznode not going for the lag strat, setting himself up on that little pillar in the background on that right-hand side that you can see. So that is faster than staying in the back corner there. That lag strat is pretty much because that beam stays on the screen a little longer. So it's a little more consistent, but does add a little time. Caznode dispatching with Mother Brain 3 extremely cleanly. Should not be surprising from what we've seen so far here. So Caznode's going to be finishing his run here shortly. Great stuff coming from Caznode. Let's see how he chooses to end his run as Skarsnik picks up Plasma Beam in Plasmus Park.
This is looking like a high 47, actually, from Caznode, just as long as he doesn't mess up the escape. So, an incredible run from him. Yeah,
very, very clean. Very textbook from Caznode, especially if he is quote-unquote derusting right now, which I would never have guessed.
Right, I said he might be derusting, but from what we've seen so far, it looks like he's definitely comfortable with the game right now.
That is definitely true. Skarsnik not getting that climb up here. Let's see if he goes for those backup strats, which he does. It is a little faster to go down and around if you do fall all the way to the bottom. So great awareness from Skarsnik as Caznode makes his way out. Let's see how he does. Oh, missing the spark here.
Right, but I think he's still going to get a 47 even with that. But it is a little bit close.
Great awareness from Caznode, though, for the backup strats. I thought he was just going to start climbing right there. Still had enough time to get that extra spark on the right-hand side there. Opting to kill the animals.
Right,
trying to get the best possible time that he does, and it looks like Caznode finishes with an official SRL time of 47:48. So 1 minute off of his PB, which came a couple of years ago. Great stuff from Caznode. There were not many mistakes there. He's got to be pretty happy with that.
Yeah, not only was that 1 minute off of his PB, but that was over 2 minutes faster than his last race time. So he's got to be really happy with this run.
So like I said, his first race time was 50:29, and this was an official time of 47:48. So 2 minutes and change. I mean, that's pretty great.
Skarsnik is going to be heading down to Norfair here for his Ridley fight. He's got a lot of ammo. So, whatever that's worth, he shouldn't have trouble with Ridley. He's going to go the northern route here, which makes sense since he already has Ice Beam.
All right, so Caznode, great run by Caznode. Skarsnik's going to be finishing up his run here. He still has to fight Ridley, so he's going to be making his way over to Lower Norfair here. Sitting in good position, has plenty of items at his disposal here. Chose the safest of routes.
I imagine he's going to farm for full health and full ammo here.
Yeah.
So I believe that's 55 missiles and 20 supers. Not going to farm all the way, actually. Just going to farm for a little bit of health here, so...
So guys, let's take the, as Skarsnik makes his way down, there's not going to be too much going on before he gets to the lower North Fair. So let's take this time not only to congratulate Caznode on an amazing textbook run, but let's give it up for these runners here. If you haven't done so already, like and follow their pages, subscribe to them, whatever platform they're on, give them some love because they put on some great runs so far. Skarsnik is not done yet, but you know what? For his PB, he's actually doing relatively well. So I hope you guys are enjoying the quality content that these two racers were giving you. Thank you so much for being here. Also, shout out to my co-host here, TG Derb. So great stuff from everyone all around, and great stuff from the commentators, great stuff from the organizers for sure. This is one of the best tournaments that is being hosted. Shout outs to Speed Gaming for putting all these races on live. So just thanks all around to everyone that is involved.
Right, and if you can't get enough Super Metroid, there is a 4-way race going on right now on Speed Gaming 3. Obviously, I'd recommend staying here for the rest of this, but
of course, I want to give Skarsnik that, give him a chance to finish out what he set out to do, which is finish this race and possibly PB. I don't know where he is in terms of that PB, but I think it is still quite possible. But TG is right. There is a 4-way race going on right now on Speed Gaming 3, so there's plenty of Super Metroid action going on right now. And don't forget, this is only the group stages, so we still have about 2 weeks of group stages left before we advance into our later brackets here in single elimination. So we still have plenty of amazing Super Metroid any percent tournament action coming at you for weeks to come. So I hope you guys are enjoying it because it's only going to get better.
I agree. We even have plenty of races today after... Actually, only one race happening after this race and the
we have one at
4-way.
11 p.m. Eastern, is that correct?
Yes, and then we've got plenty more for the rest of the week.
Yeah, tomorrow itself is actually stacked.
Yeah, I'll actually be running on Friday night against Eduardo Metroid, so if you can't get enough of me, then I guess check that out.
Great stuff. So tomorrow is going to start at 12 p.m. All the channels are going to be determined tomorrow morning, but we've got races at 12, 4, 5. We got a 4-way race at 6. We've got one at 7:30 and then 9. So the afternoons are jam-packed with that Super Metroid action. So if you can't get enough, you are in luck. Skarsnik making his way through this room here, having a little bit of trouble. Low health, but luckily he does have that reserve tank here, so let's see how he chooses to navigate, trying to make sure that he is safe. Avoiding... Let's switch over to Skarsnik right now.
Yeah, if we can get Skarsnik's audio. There we go.
So going for that safety E-tank, he could have gotten that on the way out as well, but choosing to do it before the Ridley fight, making sure that he is fully stocked.
Right, if you're going to get that E-Tank, you want to get it before the Ridley fight, so you have 5 E-Tanks going into Ridley. It definitely makes the fight a lot safer.
Essentially, he almost has 6, if you think about it.
Yeah, he even has the reserve, so...
Coming through, knowing what he has to do with these key hunters, but just kind of messing up a little bit. Choosing the safety strat of saving here in case he does die, that is not a bad plan in these runs. Again, if you die and then choose to forfeit in a run, it is 3 hours of time officially, so making sure that he actually gets a better time there, not a bad decision to do that, especially with all the work that he's done, because he has definitely done a hybrid of an any percent and 100% run here.
Right, so of course with he probably knows that Caznode's already finished with his run, so he might just be thinking that he just needs to finish without forfeiting the race. So right. That could be why he's taking a few more safeties.
And I'm not discrediting that. I completely agree with it. So great stuff from Skarsnik. Just trying to give some background into why he might be doing that. It looks like Caznode is done and he is leaving. So GG's to Caznode. I know he was a little tired beforehand, so we're not going to get him in here for an interview, but great stuff, Caznode. Textbook, just a great run. If you are derusting, then I don't even want to see you at your peak, man. Having a little trouble here with these Ninja Pirates, just getting the timing just a little off here, getting the first one.
He is taking a lot of damage, though. despite picking up the energy tank earlier, he might have to farm a bit for Ridley if he's not feeling comfortable with his health. And, yeah, it looks like we're going to see him farm.
He's going to farm a little bit, and then he's going to start that Ridley G.
Yeah, he might just be farming for full health here, which I wouldn't blame him if he's not feeling comfortable with Ridley. Ridley is probably the hardest boss for newer players, so taking extra safeties, especially in a race where you just want to finish, is definitely a respectable choice. He took a bit of damage there in his Ridley fight, but overall a pretty clean fight from him. You still there? We see Scars picked up the Ridley E-Tank, so he's going to have 6 E-Tanks going into Mother Brain. Definitely a comfort strat, so can't really blame him. Makes the fight a lot safer. Can eat a couple more catch-ups. Not sure what happened to Mexican. I think his internet died. Unfortunate. But not too much to miss here. Just waiting for Skarsnik to finish off his run, and with all the safeties he's got, it shouldn't be too eventful. Should be an easy fight for him.
All right, so Skarsnik looks like he is making his way over to the Golden Fort here. Sorry, I missed his Ridley fight. What happened over there?
Nothing too interesting. He got a bit low, so he picked up the Ridley E-Tank.
Okay.
So now he has 6. He's gonna take a ship refill here, which makes sense.
So Skarsnik, worth noting, on a pretty good pace in relation to his PB. Now, on record, his PB is 134.45, but he did say his PB is actually a little closer to 115 here. So it's going to be close, but there is a possibility that he could actually PB here in this race setting, which would be pretty interesting.
Right, and of course, optimal Korean time in old route is about 7.5 minutes. I don't know what his best time is, but it's not too long of a segment, so this could really be a PB.
He is set up extremely well for this final fight too. If his timer is any indication, he is well beyond a PB now, guys. This run is over. He's 6 hours, 3 minutes in.
Really unfortunate stuff, but
had a little trouble in the beginning, but you know, trying to go for those safety strats really added up here.
Yeah, on a serious note, a pretty decent run from him, assuming what he said about his PB is accurate.
Yeah.
So definitely interesting to see how much he can continue to improve throughout the tournament.
Yeah, a lot of people with higher, just because you have a higher PB does not necessarily mean that you're a beginner. You know, if you have a high PB, you may just be getting into the game, or you know, maybe you don't have a lot of time to practice, things like that. So Skarsnik, with what he is doing in the beginning here and what he's done in a race setting, is actually pretty commendable here, because a race setting changes everything.
Oh, I agree completely. As we see him going into the first of the Metroid rooms.
So looking to go individually here.
Right, he's
Which
got
is probably
plenty of ammo.
Yeah.
So he shouldn't need to do grouping strats.
Generally speaking, like on the whole, are grouping strats just faster? Or not necessarily? Or does it depend on the room?
I mean, for the second and last room, I believe the grouping strat's faster, but in the first and third room, you just want to run through them. And if you do it completely optimally, it's faster not to do grouping.
So Skarsnik making his way into that fourth room here. Let's see how he does. He's definitely fine on health and on ammo here.
Oh, absolutely. Even gets all his missiles back. So he's got tons of leeway coming up here. I don't imagine he'll be going for Metroid skip, but
I'd be I'm not gonna just say that he's not gonna do it, but I would actually be very surprised if he pulled out a baby skip here.
yeah, he's just gonna damage himself down. Of course, he has a lot of health, so he is going to lose a little bit of time here.
Right.
But it's not a big deal.
He gets hit right in the beginning here.
He faces right, though, so he gets the 33 frame time save there. Pretty impressive stuff.
So no idea what's going on with the timer here, but
I just remember a story of. Sorry.
He's gonna open up the door with the old school strats and then work his way back, so that he's got full missiles here. He's going for the full safety strats here, and I almost guarantee that he is going to save right before the final room there.
Oh, absolutely.
What were you gonna say?
I was gonna say a story of, I think it was Ponk that showed this, like showed us this timer first, and he said he like left it on overnight, and when he came back, just absolutely nothing made any sense. So,
yeah, I don't know what's going on with that timer there, so yeah. I'm assuming that he's at 107. I feel like that's accurate.
I would imagine so.
Yeah, so. But who the heck knows with this? There it is, 107. Backwards one. All right, so he's going to be going through. Maybe, you know, I didn't realize this. Does he have enough ammo here to get through without the Zebite glitch? That may be why he was actually doing what he was doing.
Yes, he absolutely does. You need 11 missiles or 4 supers for each Zebite.
Okay.
So
I didn't realize that until now, but he may not be able to do that, so he was just picking up all that extra stuff just so he could get through here. We'll see what happens. And it looks like that's exactly what he's doing.
Alright, so ideally you would want to, I would think, open 3 with supers and 1 with missiles, but he's going to go for 2 and 2. So he's still got tons of ammo.
Yeah, he should be okay here, assuming that he can actually... Yeah, he should be okay. I would have opted to open up the glass with regular missiles there, but he's still got plenty. Taking a little extra damage from these Rinkas, but perfect.
I think the glass actually takes the same amount of damage from supers and missiles, so it is actually kind of a waste, but he still gets through fine.
With 1 missile to spare, so yeah, he knew exactly what he was doing from the beginning.
Right.
So we'll have to see what he does here, having to make sure that he does not get hit by too much.
Actually going for the bomb strats, bombing the meatballs, or tater tots, whatever you want to call them.
I've actually, to be honest, I've never seen that done. That's not a bad...
Generally, you would see low percent runners do it, since the fight lasts so long and you don't want to take any extra damage. But
he should be okay here. Does he make it out of here?
Yeah,
that's great.
Got the kill down. And like I said, he is on PB pace, assuming everything goes well from here. He didn't damage himself down on Mother Brain, so she's gonna have to waste some time doing damage to him there. But not too bad.
All right, so Skarsnik should be able to finish this run no problem here. Having a finish time anywhere around 115 with the amount of items that he has done is actually pretty impressive, because I know when I was starting out, my runs were around 120, 115, and I didn't pick up nearly as much. I was just worse.
Yeah, I guess I was pretty much the same way, so Definitely impressive for a newer runner to enter this tournament with a lot of big names in it. You know, Zost, Oats, and Goats, Behemoth, all in this tournament.
Yeah, and like I said, coming into it, Caznode was actually watching what was going on. Maybe he didn't because he knew how far away their PBs were, but it's always interesting to, you know, ask what the person with like that much of a gap, you know, in Skarsnik's in his position when he's got, you know, 20 minutes to make up, like what their thought process is, because sometimes they won't even feel the pressure, you know, knowing that oh hey, I'm racing someone that's, you know, that much better than me, and then they just actually feel a little more relaxed because they know they don't have anything to lose. So
right, but Scars should be finishing with about a low, like a 113 or a 114 here.
Yeah, which would be PB regardless. So
right, so definitely impressive, even if it's not a big PB.
So regardless, any I always say any finished run is a good run, but any PB, especially in a race setting, is pretty fantastic.
Oh, I agree completely. And we're about to see one right here.
All right, so Skarsnik, as long as he can make his way out here, looking pretty good here. He's got one Shine Spark left, and then the rest is just cake. Making his way out of the escape here.
Getting trolled a little bit by the pirates there, but he's
shouldn't be too much of a problem here.
Actually, a nice little strat to avoid the shot there. So, pretty interesting stuff from him.
So it looks like Skarsnik in general has problems with wall climb, because I didn't see him do, well, there we go. I didn't see him use wall climb too much in the run at all, trying to avoid it as much as possible, so.
It's definitely something you need to get used to. There's a,
Ooh, missing that spark there. Is he gonna have enough? Oh, he does. Coming all the way up here. Should still have a PB here as he makes his way out.
He's had a little bit of trouble, but he's still on really good pace for him, and this should be at least a PB.
Well, judging from his timer, I don't know where the heck he is right now, so.
I'm gonna assume he's on PB pace.
That'd be nice to know. So as he finishes the run, Skarsnik coming in, finishing that run with an official SRL time of 1:13:52, looking like he is improving his personal best by a solid 40 seconds. Great run by Skarsnik. Great run by Caznode. That was a great race, guys.
Oh, absolutely.
So it does not look like we're going to have time here, because Speed Gaming 5 is going to transition into a Celeste race. But again, just a quick shout out to these runners, Skarsnik and Caznode. Again, if you haven't done so already, do them a favor, like and follow them, subscribe to them whatever platform they are on. This was great entertainment. Also, my co-commentator over here, TG Derp, give him a follow as well. And a big shout out to Speed Gaming, as well as all of the organizers in this tournament. I hope you guys are enjoying it. There's a giant race going on, a four-way race that's probably nearing the end right now on Speed Gaming 3, and we have one more at 11 p.m. on Speed Gaming 3. So if you are not done with the Super Metroid entertainment, I hope you go back over to Speed Gaming 3 and finish out the night with some of this great any % tournament action. That's all I got. Do you have anything to add?
I think the race on Speed Gaming 3 ended pretty recently, but it's definitely probably worth checking out the VOD. There were some pretty big name runners there. Shiny Jenny, Topsy, all very good runners.
Yeah, that four-way race was probably extremely good. So if it started off on time, my guess is that it's definitely over by now. But if not, head over to there, see what's going on next. Speed Gaming 5 is going to turn over to Celeste, but check out Speed Gaming 3 for some more Super Metroid 80% tournament action, and definitely tune in tomorrow. I don't know what channels are going to be going on, but there's going to be plenty of action tomorrow. So if you guys are enjoying this, then stay tuned because there is some hot any percent action coming at you for weeks to come. Guys, thank you so much for spending the time with these runners, with us. You could be doing anything at any given moment. You're choosing to spend time here. It's always greatly appreciated. So thank you so much. For now, I am PGA Mexican signing off. TG, you have anything to add?
Nope.
Oh, all right, guys. So thank you once again for being here. Again, tune over to Speed Gaming 3, and hopefully we have the pleasure of commenting another race for you. Have a great night, everyone. We'll see you soon.